Container gardening, the familiar and maybe the not so familiar ways to container garden, coming up on the Wisconsin Vegetable Garden. Welcome to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. I'm Joy Baird. This show is dedicated to the average gardener, simple home living and using what you already have. Well, whether you live in the country, in town, or on a 5th floor apartment with a balcony, you can container garden. It just comes down to what you're wanting to grow and how big of a container you're going to grow it in. Let's take a look at some of the containers that we use here at the garden. It doesn't take a whole lot of money either. Everything you'll see, we found along the side of the road. You don't have to buy a traditional container, you can use dresser drawers. These worked excellent for growing our onions and our shallots this year. Next to that was the metal trays there. These worked very well for growing dill. We had an abundance of dill that we had too much of. So you just can be creative with what you're going to plant in. What we have here is where our onions, beets, and some dill grew. What these things are, it's not your traditional container. It is a hard shell golf bag container that you would probably transfer your clubs on a plane, cross country or whatever. But this works well. We took it apart. It was already broken the junk and I knew what I wanted to do with it. And you get about 6.75 square feet of growing space. And at the deepest it's about 11 inches deep. At the shallowest about 6. But it works quite well for onions. We had some beets. We had some dill that worked very well in it. And there's a beet right there. As you can see, it grows the beets quite well. We drill holes in the bottom of it and it works very good. And so just don't think that you have to use a plastic container, traditional pot for container gardening. You want to come down here, we've got, we tried to grow rutabagas in the pots over here. Didn't work as successful as it did in the dresser drawer, but it's the same kind of metal pot that the dill was growing in. At the very least, we've got some very nice rutabaga greens that we can cook up. And over here, another one, we've got some beets. These were planted extremely late, and I was hoping we were going to get them grown before the frost hit. In our basement window bay, we have crooked neck zucchini, some beefsteak tomatoes. Next to that, we have a jalapeno pepper plant, and on the far right, it's a bush cucumber plant. It's designed for patios or container gardening. It grows to 2 or 3 foot in diameter. It's an excellent item to put in a container. It's a heavy producer. Highly recommend this. The great thing about a window bay is, if you have it, a basement window bay that is, use it. It's out of the way. You don't have to move the pots to mow around. And it's a great place to maximize the space to have a container garden. Potatoes are one of the easiest vegetables you can grow. You can grow them in the ground or in a container as we have here. Other people grow them in buckets, garbage bags, even been known to throw them in a compost bin and they grow. And some people during the winter grow them in a container and set them on their kitchen cabinets. Swiss chard grows excellent in a container garden. We have ours in a dresser drawer. It's a leafy green vegetable that's similar to spinach, but it will withstand heat all summer long. Right here in one of our another dresser drawer, we've got a rutabaga. This is the second rutabaga we've had this year. So just, you think rutabaga would be a typical ground plant, which it is, but you can also get away with possibly growing in a container. This was simply an experimental project. Maximizing your space wherever it is, whether it be on a staircase as here, we've got some mustard greens growing. They did absolutely incredible in the pots on the stairs. Up above, we've got some onion sets. They did relatively well also. So you want to maximize your space wherever it may be.
Smoothies have become very popular over the last couple of years, something that you can enjoy as a snack or something with a light meal. A lot of the times though, when you purchase a smoothie, there's a lot of additives and things that you might not know that go into there. So making a smoothie at home is a lot of fun, something you can enjoy on your own, and something that you can also share with your kids or your loved ones. Today we're making a tropical mango smoothie surprise. What's a surprise, you ask? Well, we're going to find out in just a few moments here. So what we're going to do first is we're going to juice some oranges. I've chopped and peeled about 5 oranges. I'm going to go ahead and get them juiced here. Now we might not use all of this juice in our smoothie, but it's something that you can add to it, and then whatever you don't use, you can set aside and drink for breakfast. The next thing we're going to juice is carrots. Carrots are something that are very sweet when you juice them, and you can put them in the smoothie, and if you're giving this to kids, it's going to give them added nutrition, and you're really not going to taste it. It's just going to be an added sweetness. If you don't think you're going to like it, then obviously you can omit it from your smoothie. I juiced about 5 carrots, that's about a pound. I didn't peel them, I just chopped the ends off and gave them a good washing. And look at all this beautiful orange juice that it made. So now we're going to get the blender ready to make the smoothie. In case you're not very familiar with mangoes, this is what they look like. You know they're ripe when you squeeze them and they're soft to the touch. You want to peel and chop them. They have a big pit or seed in the middle. You don't want to eat that. You want to chop around that. So what we're going to add to our tropical fruit smoothie is mango. We have 1 banana, and then we have a can of pineapple that I had drained the juice off of. If you want to use fresh pineapple, go ahead. I had the canned pineapple on hand, so I just decided to go with that. The surprise is the carrot juice. You're not going to be able to taste it that strong once you blend all this together, and it just adds extra nutrients and it's good for you. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting this blended. And then we're going to add the juice, the 2 different juices to kind of make the smoothie to the consistency that we want it. So let me go ahead and get this all added in here. And you could also add things like papaya, you know, even like coconut. You can add more bananas, or maybe if you don't like, some people don't like bananas, so you don't necessarily need to add that. And it's going to turn out pretty good. You could even add like some protein powder if you were gonna do maybe like this is like a breakfast type thing. You could add sometimes I'll add ground flaxseed. That gives you just enough fiber, and there's other nutrients in flaxseed. So now I'm going to add some of the carrot juice. It's pretty well blended, so I'm going to add this and then blend it in. You don't want to add obviously all of it at first until you give it a taste, because you don't obviously want it to taste like carrots unless that's what you're going for. So I think that's pretty well mixed. And you can always help your blender out too if it's having a hard time chopping. Just push some of the bigger chunks down towards the blade, but this blender tends to be pretty efficient. So let me give that a taste here. It's very good. You can definitely taste the mango, the banana, and the pineapple. I'm not going to add any of that orange juice to it because I don't think it really needs it. I might add a little bit more carrot juice, but there you have it. Tropical fruit mango surprise. Something that you can make at home. You can have the kids help you out, and you can even make this, you know, the night before and have it for breakfast, and you can add many different things to it. So go ahead, try it out and see what kind of different tastes you can create.
To the average person, this might look like a 2-liter soda bottle you'll throw in the recycling bin. To me, I see a mini greenhouse to start my plants in when I put them in the garden to keep them a little bit warm. All you want to do is you want to remove the bottom of the soda bottle, cut that bottom part off, and then whatever you're going to plant, whether you have seedlings that you're going to plant in the garden or you've already got small plants that you want to keep protected from the cold weather, just put the seed in the ground, cover it up, and you can set your soda bottle over top of it to keep them warm during them cold early spring days. And the neat thing about this, it has its own vent system. If it's going to be really warm, you can loosen the top of it to let the heat escape. If it's going to be really cold, you want to tighten it down. Now, yeah, you could use milk jugs for this as well, but I don't prefer milk jugs because I can't see how the plant's progressing, if it's got any issues, without having to remove the top, and that lets all the heat escape. So start saving them soda bottles so you can get a jump start for putting stuff in the ground come this spring. When it comes to container gardening, you can be experimental, and it can be a surprise to you. We threw these rutabagas in this little pot here that we cut in half, and well, they've gotten so crazy they've grown to the bottom and actually grew into the ground. It's the end of the season, so we're just going to pull them up and see what we've got here. That's a nice, that's a small one there. Here's a better one. That's the one that came through the bottom. As you can see, you know, rutabaga is traditionally a ground plant, but if you only have access to container gardening, that's a creative one there. They can be grown in a container as well. So just an idea to think about whenever you're going to plant containers next year. You can experiment with stuff to see what it may or may not accomplish. Compaction can be one of the enemies to your plants. One of the ways we try to prevent that in the garden when possible is to use these. What are these? These are the bases that come off your floor lamps after they're broken or damaged. So anywhere we can, we put them in the garden as stepping stones, and we walk on it to prevent soil compaction whenever possible. Well, that's all the time we have. Hope you enjoyed the show as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. And as you can see, whether you grow a container garden in a dresser drawer that lasts one season, or a terracotta pot that lasts generations and lifetimes, it's very simple. And whatever you're going to grow in the ground, you can grow in a container as long as you have enough space. And start saving them soda bottles so you can have little mini greenhouses all over your garden and get a jump start on everybody in the neighborhood when it comes to planting your garden this spring. For everybody here at the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener, I'm Joy Baird, reminding you, take a child gardening, start growing some memories. The show never ends on our Facebook page. Keyword Wisconsin Vegetable Gardeners. Like the page and continue the discussion there. You can now follow us on Twitter, see what we're up to and what we're doing at the garden. The address, the W-I Veg Gardener, G-A-R-D-E-N-R. You can email us at thewiveggardener@gmail.com with your questions, comments, or suggestions about the show.